This podcast was recorded during the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. Without the labor of the actors currently on strike, the series being covered here would not exist.
Welcome to the Artie's Attic Warehouse 13 Fancast, where a steampunk girl, a lifelong sci-fi fan, and a rocket scientist chat about the popular 2009 sci-fi series. There's never a dull moment with the agents dedicated to protect humankind from unexplained phenomena that manifest their powers in special objects. And there's all those friendships and relationships along the way. Grab a cookie while you can. Hope you don't smell fudge. Gear up with your Farnsworth, Tesla, and neutralizer, and let's have some fun by snagging it, bagging it, and tagging it. Welcome back to Artie's Attic, a Warehouse 13 Fancast. I'm the Warehouse 13 janitor, currently stuck to sticky string. My name is SP.
Yeah, that stuff gets everywhere.
It does, in cracks that you didn't know you had.
All the wrong crevices.
I'm so glad we have a janitor for that.
I'll do my best. And introducing lead Artie's Attic agent and historian, who is currently masquerading as a school nurse this week, is Agent Shannon.
What's up, guys?
Agent Shannon, you have a little bit of a cough, so we're going to try to get through this as fast as we can.
A bit.
Okay. And the rookie warehouse agent, who had finally stopped doing her rain dance this year, is Agent Carolyn.
Yay! We finally got rain.
Yay, after like 5 months without rain. That's just...
Yeah, since like May.
How did you do that? How do you live with 5 months without rain?
Carefully.
Texas does it all the time.
I was going to say Texas does it all the time.
But Texas doesn't have anything growing there.
Well, we don't either in the summer.
You think we're like the desert or what?
I do. You go a little bit away from where you are, it is desert.
Only if you go west.
I hate going west, but I have done that before, yeah.
But if you go east,
I live in the west.
you get a lot of pine trees for heading towards Louisiana.
The west I'm talking about is the El Paso region of Texas.
Oh.
Yeah, no one wants to live there.
No, I don't want to live there.
But everyone wants to come through there, but never mind.
Anyway, tonight we're going to continue our discussion of Warehouse 13, the episode that premiered 7 years before wireless AirPods existed.
Speaking of, hang on just a second, Carolyn.
Okay.
Yes.
This posted on your birthday in 2009, September 8th.
No, September 9th
Oh,
is my
9th. Whatever. Sorry. Close to it. It's your birthday weekend.
Yay!
Birthday, yeah, I was going to get there. Premiered on September 7th, 2009. Warehouse 13, Season 1, Episode 10, Breakdown. And the Amazon description is, while the regents question Artie, played by Saul Rubinek, during a surprise meeting with Mrs. Frederick, played by Cece Pounder, Pete, played by Eddie McClintock, Micah, played by Joanne Kelly, and Claudia, played by Alison Scagliotti, find themselves trapped in the warehouse with energy levels reaching critical mass and Mrs. Frederick getting pretty nasty. Will they be able to save it before Artie's gets back? All right, Shannon, you did not have a chance to recently watch the episode, but
I've seen this series so many times.
Yeah.
Isn't this, I think this is the first time we see Mark Shepard from Firefly, right?
Yes, Mark Shepard is the guest star this episode. Do you guys know anything about Mark Shepard? Have you seen him in anything before?
Firefly. That's the first time I ever saw him. Actually, well, yeah, I saw him in Firefly first because Firefly came out in 2002. Warehouse came out in 2009, but in between, I don't remember ever seeing him in anything other than Battlestar Galactica, right?
Mark Shepard has 63 acting credits since 1992. Listen to these. 5 episodes of the original Walker Independence, 11 episodes of Doom Patrol, 70 episodes of Supernatural, seasons 5 through seasons 12.
Yeah, I never got around to watching that one.
Well, there's like 20
I
seasons
watched
now.
a episode, and it only because it had Joanne Kelly in it. You know, when you're a fangirl, you got to do what you got to do.
Mark Shepard was in 6 episodes of Warehouse 13, ranging from this episode in season 1 all the way to season 5, episode 5. So we get to see Mark throughout the years.
Season 5, episode 5. Almost the last, yeah.
Yep. The penultimate episode there. 2 episodes of Doctor Who. 2 episodes of Chuck. 3 episodes of Dollhouse. 7 episodes of Battlestar Galactica.
Yep.
Most of us know him as Romo Lampkin.
Yep.
2 episodes of Firefly. He played Badger.
Yeah.
1 episode of Shannon's favorite Charmed.
What?
The original Charmed, not the second
I
Charmed.
don't remember him, but you know, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, 1 episode. 1 episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Where was he in Star Trek Voyager?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me
Maybe
that.
an alien.
So I kept
Probably.
his IMDb thing open, and
I'm like, I saw that, but I don't remember him in that.
yeah, I don't. It was 1 episode. He played Lucan in season 6, episode 19, Child's Play. So one of the last episodes of Voyager.
Okay, sure. I'll believe you.
20 episodes of Soldier of Fortune, 1 episode of X-Files, and 2 episodes of
Oh,
Silk
Do
Stockings.
remember X-Files? Yes.
Yeah. So he's been in a thing or two.
A thing or two, but again, the first time I saw him as Firefly, so that's what I think of. Plus, he has the British accent. I just remember Summer.
Oh,
No, is it? No, that's her real name. What was the sister's
so
name?
yeah, Summer Glau. What was her name in the thing?
Summer Glau?
Yeah, what was her
Yeah,
name in Firefly?
In Firefly.
In Firefly?
River.
River.
River
Tam.
Tam.
Ooh, I almost
River
lost my credit there.
Oh,
Ooh, I
jeez.
almost lost some credit. River.
River.
The way she mocked his accent. That's the first time I remember seeing him there. But I think he did a great job here. I loved him as a regent.
He was the main regent, right?
Yes.
Mr. Valda.
He is one of the main. I think Kusan is the top dog, which is also a Star Trek actor.
Yes. We
One
will
of
see
many?
him a little bit later. Yes.
He was also in Leverage, wasn't he? I thought, because he was in Leverage when I was
Yes.
watching Leverage.
He was in 10 episodes of Leverage from 2008 to 2012. I was going to go through a few extra things.
Which one are we
since-
talking about? Kusan?
No, Mark Shepard.
Mark Shepard.
Mark Shepard was also in an episode of Burn Notice. He's been in a lot of stuff. He did a lot of 1, maybe 2 episodes per series, but he was in a lot, and he's currently in Walker Independence. It's a
I
current
don't even know
show.
what that is.
The summary is Abby Walker's husband is murdered before her eyes. On her quest for revenge, Abby crosses paths with Hoyt Rollins. Abby and Hoyt's journey takes them to Independence, Texas, where they encounter residents running from their own pasts.
Oh,
Independence, Texas. Is this kind of like what they do? Like, is it? I don't know. I'm sure there's an Independence, Texas somewhere. But like, I was never so disappointed as I was when the X-Files movie came out and they showed Dallas. Do you ever see that?
No.
Oh my God. You have the Dallas skyline in the background, but then there's desert in between. I'm like, that's someone who's never been to Texas ever.
that sounds like most of the Hallmark movies where they say they're like somewhere in Oregon, and I'm like, I don't know where you are in Oregon,
You're in
but
the
that's
back
not
lot,
Oregon.
California. Yeah.
No, backlot of Vancouver. Yeah.
Vancouver, yeah, it's filmed in Vancouver. I'm like, I know you're in the Pacific Northwest area because that's the kind of greenery that we have, but that's not Oregon. That's Canada.
They have expanded their filming locations. So you do have Toronto, and then they do travel throughout the United States to do little filming here and there. But most of it's Vancouver.
In the
Yeah.
X-Files, they have these children playing and they're on a swing set in like a trailer park area. You have like the little patch of grass that the swing set's on, and then you see a wide expanse of desert, and then off in the distance you see the Dallas skyline. I'm like, oh my God. Somebody did not do homework at all. At all.
I'm going to speak to the guys that are listening to this podcast right now. Remember that Transformers movie where they started out in the annex to the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum? You know, the one at Dulles, and then they go out the back and it's desert. You remember that? It's all I'm going to say. It's you don't go from Dulles to the desert going out the back door. It just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
No,
and Dallas does not have like cactus and.
It doesn't. I
not.
saw tumbleweed there sometimes.
There's tumbleweed. I have seen tumbleweed.
Not in Dallas.
Well, no, because there's too much city in Dallas to have tumbleweeds.
Plano.
But when I was driving through Texas, I did see some tumbleweeds, just not.
And what part of Texas were you driving through?
The Texas.
I was in Plano, Texas, looking out my hotel window, and I saw tumbleweed going past the lot next door.
You saw grass that probably had been mowed from the yard next door going down the street.
It looked like tumbleweed to me. I've seen tumbleweed before.
Was it summer? It was probably brown. I mean, it's okay.
It was April or March. It was March.
I have a postcard that says the sun has risen and the sun has set, and we ain't out of Texas yet. So
that's accurate. That's accurate.
Through Texas. That's
driving through Texas. You could drive 8 hours to the west and still be freaking in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Why? When you can just go 3 hours to the east and be in Shreveport and gamble. It's great.
Y'all need to gamble in Texas. That's probably and keep that money there.
But I could go 45 minutes north and be in Windstar and gamble more, so it's okay.
All right. Let's talk about some artifacts here.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of artifacts in this one.
Let's start talking about the AutoVac. You know, we're living in the land. I don't know about you guys. I have a robot vacuum. Do you guys have a robot vacuum? I've had one for a few years.
Riker would eat it.
No, I do not. But I did. That was my first thought was it's the first Roomba vacuum, but it has an attitude.
It does. So I did a little history digging. Shannon, you should be proud of me. I found some history here.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so it is a Kirby robot vacuum, the AutoVac. It's Kirby vacuum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Kirby was introduced in the 1920s, really. It was the first vacuum with the Kirby company in...
They go in when they went door to door?
Yes. That was a door-to-door salesman vacuum, yes.
Right. So it was the company itself was founded in 1914, and then they had some early vacuums, not a robot vacuum, just some early vacuums. Well, this is a robot vacuum, and most people are familiar with the robot vacuums. They've seen commercials or they have some in their home. So I'm like, okay, when was the first robot vacuum made? Because this episode was out in 2009. Well, in 1996, Electrolux introduced the first robot vacuum cleaner, the Electrolux Tribulite. It worked well, but had frequent problems with colliding with objects and stopping short of walls and other objects, as well as leaving small areas not cleaned. As a result, it failed in the market and was discontinued. In 2001, Dyson built and demonstrated a robot vacuum known as the DC-06. However, due to its high price, it was never released to the market. Electrolux released the Tribulite robot vacuum cleaner. The robot vacuum cleaner launched at a price of $1,800. There were two models,
Moses.
The ZA1 and the ZA2. $1,800. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'd vacuum my own house, thanks.
In 2010, the Nito Robotics XV11 robotic vacuum introduced laser-based mapping, allowing navigation in straight lines rather than the traditional random navigation. If you've ever seen a robot vacuum, they do one of two things. They bump and go, or they do the straight lines thing. I like the straight lines. Just saying.
Well, an engineer would.
Right. And then in 2015, Dyson and iRobot both introduced camera-based mapping. And in 2016, iRobot CEO claimed that 20% of vacuum cleaners sales worldwide were robots. So this happened around the time robot vacuums were on the way. And the AutoVac definitely had a mind of its own.
Yeah, I wonder whose vacuum it was that made it so that it had its own power, because she was just repairing it, which was funny because she's like, scalpel, thank you, nurse. I had a lot of blood here.
Yep, which she
Claudia.
fixes
She's so
with
funny.
the snow
Mhm.
globe.
No, she fixed her pop with the snow globe. She didn't
Oh,
fix
that's
the.
right.
Oh yeah, she made it cold again.
She made it cold again. Yeah, because she drank it and then it was warm, and she's like, ugh. And then even though Artie told her not to use artifacts, what is the
Always.
first thing she does?
Always. She always
Takes out a
uses them.
snow globe, shakes it on top of it, and makes her pop Frosty again.
That won't be the last time we see that artifact.
Frosty goodness.
Do you think this was sponsored by Coke? Was this a product placement?
Kind of looked like it. Did it actually say Coke, or was it just like the colors of Coke? Did it actually say Coke?
It said
On it?
Coke.
And it had the koala bears on not koala bears. It had the polar bears on it.
But the Coke was on the side, so I think they were like going for a Coke sponsorship, but they didn't get one. So they were
Oh.
like, hey, Coke, we can do this for you. And then it didn't pan out.
What else?
It didn't pan out.
Oh, this is the first time we saw the Dark Vault. They've talked about it.
No, this is the second time because they talked about he went into the Dark Vault the first episode because he had to get that picture with the lady with the comb.
Was the mirror in the Dark Vault? Did we see the mirror?
No,
I didn't, but I did see the artifact from the first episode.
but did we actually see Artie going into the Dark Vault to get it?
He
just
went
talked
into
about
the
it.
Dark Vault. Yeah, he did.
I don't
Yeah, he
remember.
poked the buttons on the door and went into the Dark Vault.
But you didn't ever get to see the artifacts that were in there.
You didn't see a lot of them. No, he went right towards where the pictures were, and then he was
Right, 'cause
ruffling
I'm
through
like,
the
this
pictures.
is the first episode that I think where you actually get to see the things that are within the circles. Like
Yes,
the telephones and the doll that's like the creepy, Annabelle or whatever.
What's up
And
with
the
that
typewriter.
statue that snarls? The doll or whatever?
yeah. Eddie, what are you in for?
Which one? Which artifact?
The
The
doll.
baby doll.
Oh, the baby doll. And I call that Annabelle.
I don't remember it, so I don't know what it does or anything.
You know what? Sometimes they don't show you exactly. Sometimes you may not have episodes. I mean, we've seen that many times. You don't have episodes about what this artifact does just because it's in the background.
We do see Sylvia Plath's typewriter. That's the thing that captivates Pete. The object drains nearby persons of energy and their will to live. It causes insurmountable despair. And it was based off the poem called Ennui.
That's the one he stands in front of, right?
Yes. He ends up standing inside the circle because he got scared by the baby and backed up and then ended up inside
I'd
the
have been
circle.
freaked out by the baby too. Not the freaking baby.
Yeah. It was
freaking.
a freaky baby.
Yeah, so it was a good time to have a Halloween episode.
You would think you would want to tippy-toe through the dark room.
Tiptoe, yes.
Not like, oh, look, shiny.
Just don't do it, squirrel.
I did find it funny that in the beginning that it was said, don't look and don't touch. And I was immediately thinking of Pete.
Yeah, he's not going to make it through that minefield. He never does. So see, I like this is the one where the Claudia got stuck in the Lena's house within the warehouse, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, at first it starts off with her trying to fix the zip line, and then the vacuum cleaner gets an attitude and comes out and knocks her off of her ladder, and she hits the button, sends her flying down the zip line, and then the stinking vacuum hits the button to let go of the line. So then she goes flying into the warehouse. And then yes, lands in a exact copy of Lena's B&B in the warehouse.
Which is controlled by the portrait on the wall.
Yes. But they don't know that. They had to, it was so funny because I think Claudia had some of the best lines in this one too, because they're all sitting inside the house and going, okay, this is an exact copy. So there has to be an artifact in here. So we have to look for something that's different. And then she gets up, she's like, I love that we just had this whole thing. Gold stars all around.
Gold stars. Michaela says
Gold
it all the time.
stars.
Gold stars. Gold stars.
Unfortunately, they have to deface the portrait to escape the house.
I know, but Micah looks cute when she's doing it. And she takes a little, the
Letter opener.
letter opener. She's cutting into it, and she.
Do you like how she knew exactly where the letter opener was? Oh yeah, I think there's one in this drawer over here. And I was like, how do you know that?
Leave it to Micah to figure it out.
What are two Secret Service agents going around without knives?
You know what's really hilarious is it's happened twice. I have a little Leatherman that I carry in my pocket all the time. And we had an event at OSU, and there was Umpqua Dairy. They needed a plug-in for their little cooler because they were giving away samples of ice cream, and they needed to plug it in. And we're standing right next to him, and he's looking at the thing to plug in, and he needs a Phillips screwdriver. He's like, I didn't bring my... So I pull out my Leatherman that's in my pocket, and I'm like, here, you can borrow this. He's like, you have that in your pocket? I'm like, you don't?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. The only time it's not in my pocket is when I'm flying.
Yeah, because that'd be bad. That'd be very bad.
Yeah, I would lose it, and that would be very sad. I've had it for over 20 years.
Same one?
Yep. I got it when, it's so funny. I don't know if you had G.I. Joes. They were a sporting goods store. I don't know if you had those.
No.
G.I. Joe's.
It was literally called G.I. Joe's Sporting Goods Stores. We had it here, and it was going out of business. So it was like a $200 Leatherman, so like a little pocket one that I got for like, I think $60 or something like that.
Nice.
It was a steal.
It was a privately owned retail chain for sporting goods, ready-to-wear clothing, and auto parts. And auto parts?
Auto parts?
It did. It had auto parts. It did. It was sad.
All around Pacific Northwest store, huh?
I didn't know it was just Pacific Northwest. That's kind of funny. It was called G.I. Joe's. It was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Founded in 1952, the company had as many as 31 stores located in the Pacific Northwest. It was based in Wilsonville. And in 2007, the company changed its name to Joe's. In 2009, it filed for bankruptcy and was liquidated.
Oh, well, there you go. That's how long I've had it.
So long, Joe.
Right?
But it was funny how in this house, Pete thought that if he just ran faster, he could get through that door and get out of the house. Just ran faster.
It's hilarious how the three of them get stuck and they figure it out. And he's like looking down the hallway and he's wondering if he can, if I look real quick, will I see myself? Or
yeah.
Have you ever been to one of those escape rooms?
I suck at it. Yes, I've been in 2 of them.
Right, you do just strange, weird crap when you're in the escape room. So I don't blame Pete at all for this.
I went to one last September for my birthday, but it was the Jack the Ripper. And my sister, who I think is very tenacious, really good. I tell her all the time she should be a detective. Her and I went, and we didn't make it. It took us 45 minutes to make it out of the first room. There was just so many detective clues about all the murders and stuff that happened on the it was embarrassing. We finally got where we needed to be, and there was like 6 minutes left. I'm like, yeah, we made it. We didn't die. It was okay.
What does Jack the Ripper and Kermit the Frog have in common?
Oh no. What?
I don't know.
They both have the same middle name.
Oh,
Kermit.
jeez.
D.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. I like that one.
But
I like it.
He'll be here all week. Thank you.
You know what a knife would have been good for? A defense against the Baylor dodgeball. Instead of catching it, you just poke it, right?
Yeah. That thing was brutal.
Wouldn't the knife be good for the guri?
Well, you could have cut it, but he tried to cut it and couldn't. So he had to freeze it in order to make it.
And the snow globe came in handy again.
Yeah.
Yes, the snow globe came in handy again.
Bringing it back.
Claudia and Micah have read the manual. She should have known not to take the purple gloves off when handling something artifacty. Nothing good can come from that.
She did have a snazzy name for the neutralizer processing center.
The Guri.
Guri.
Plus, she's the one that created like a place in the middle of the warehouse so you didn't have to go all the way back to the office to see what's going on.
The backup aisle terminals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love how it's Mrs. Frederick's countdown voice. And Pete's like, even when we're dying, she still has a scary voice.
And Artie, when Artie finally gets back, he's like,
yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah. Oh, it got down to 17 seconds once. She got really ornery at the end.
Yeah. Oh, I got down to 17.
Yeah. You guys had it, right? You're all good.
You all good? You all
And
good?
he was just told that they were the best agents ever.
Mm-hmm.
After he
No,
got his,
he is. He's
No,
the
no,
best
no.
agent ever.
No, they said that they were investigating him. They were not investigating Pete and Micah because
they
they were
liked
the.
Pete and Micah better
Yeah.
than what they were saying. They liked the agents better than they liked Artie. And Mrs. Frederick was the only one that was defending him.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, that is true. That is true.
Kind of harsh.
Yeah. I did like the going back to the Lena's warehouse though, when Pete tried to jump out the window to escape the house and came right back in the other
Right back
window.
into it. That's my favorite line that she did with Claudia. Would you say 8.5? 8.5?
Yes. She's like, I give it a good solid 8.5. Next time you have to stick the landing.
It's funny how Micah, she's the great big sister. She just like tunes them out all the time while she's trying to figure out what's going on.
Yep.
But you look over it, it's always Claudia and Pete that are goofing off.
It is, and they always give each other kudos. You know, it's kind of funny to
Until
watch.
she gets her bestie that comes in.
I did like this episode because we get the world building of we find out who the regents are. I mean, we see them. They're just everyday people, or they play everyday people in real life.
Mhm.
And then they're the regents, and they're just hiding in plain sight, so to speak. And we get that, and we get the actual, lead agent that's questioning anyway is the one that we were talking about before, Mark Shepard playing Benedict Valda.
Yeah,
Yes,
Valda.
Mr. Valda. Ooh, we learned Mrs. Frederick's first name too.
Did we? What was it?
Irene.
Yeah, Irene.
Irene. Because Artie looks at him and looks at her and goes, Irene, and she looks at him and goes, Mrs. Frederick.
And he's like, okay, that's the way it is. But she was called Irene before that by the regents.
Yes, but he didn't pick up on it until a little later, and he's like, Irene?
Yeah, that's not for the lower schmucks to call her by.
Artie picks up on it really quick. These regents are scared. They don't know what to do. And he's like, look, you either fire me or you kill me or you let me do my job. One of those three. I don't have time for this. And then he kind of leaves and he's like, oh, I kind of blew it.
I kind of screwed that one up.
Better in my head.
But Mrs. Frederick came out after she eats her pie, right? She orders 2 pieces of pie.
There was a lot of food in this one, actually.
No cookies?
No cookies, but there was donuts.
Almost better.
There was banana cream pie, which she made herself. And there was a steak, bloody, that Mrs. Frederick was having. She was having 2 pieces of pie, which we only saw her eat one bite. And there was talk of tacos at the end. And and Artie was like, I almost had pie.
It is Taco Tuesday, actually.
Yes, it is. But there was no cookies.
No cookies.
So this is setting up the broader universe within the warehouse with the regents. It's setting up the fact that you still have McPherson out there that is the chief nemesis that everybody's going after. It sets up Claudia, Pete, and Micah as very competent and able to deal with very adverse situations. You see a little bit more of the warehouse, how it's able to keep everything settled down because the gooery is pumping the purple crap throughout the entire warehouse. So you see all of this in this episode. It's actually a pretty decent episode where they're not going out and snagging it, tagging it, and begging
They're all
it.
inside.
Just all inside the warehouse, except for Artie and Mrs. Frederick there at the restaurant. I forget the restaurant's name. I don't know if it comes up again or not.
I think the restaurant does come up again, doesn't it? I think it does. I don't remember its name, but I think it does come up again.
But I do like how he's down there getting his butt chewed, and they're all ready to like get rid of him. But you know how much knowledge that man has of the warehouse in his head, and Mike is quick to pick up on all the rules and stuff, and reads all the books and SOPs.
She's read the manual,
right? But they couldn't do that without Artie. He's got the whole thing in his head.
And how to fix it if it goes wrong. He has all the fixes in his head.
Exactly. Because he's had to deal with it before. Who remembers all the agents? They couldn't do it without Artie. And Irene knows that. Mrs. Frederick, she knows that.
Yeah, it was funny that they kept referencing the manual. Yeah, in page 176 or something like that. It's the da da da. And Pete's, you really should read the manual, Pete. And he's like, it's over 1,000 pages. I'm waiting for the movie.
Well, I read it when Micah does it.
Definitely making the movie. I think this episode was a good episode. I think it was well put together. I think it drove the story forward, and it was directed by somebody who's actually pretty well known as a director and has been directing for a while, Eric Landeville. He's got 99 directing credits. Couldn't get to the 100. 99 directing credits starting in 1986, including 20 episodes of St. Elsewhere, 6 episodes of Doogie Howser, MD.
Oh, I watched that.
I did too.
1 episode of the original Quantum Leap.
Oh,
3 episodes of All Fly Away. It's something that I do not remember, but it's important, so we'll come back to that. 1 episode of ER, 1 episode of Gilmore Girls, 1 episode of Prison Break, 5 episodes of Lost. I did not watch it, but I know it was a good series.
it was actually really good. I didn't like the ending, but it was good. They did not stick the landing. That's for sure. Not in my opinion, anyway.
1 episode of Heroes. It was season 3, episode 18. So
I
not.
love that series.
You love Heroes?
I liked it. Yeah.
I never saw it.
Did you watch the next series, The Heroes Reborn?
No.
Okay.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I watched. It was the series that I drove into the ground. I watched all 5 seasons of it, and that was the series that I made up the rule that on linear TV, I would not watch a series unless it had 3 successful seasons to watch.
But you like Firefly.
Yes, but I would have. It's what I did. I went back and watched Firefly. I never saw Firefly when it was online. I watched it because of the podcast that Sean did when he was first doing a podcast.
But he didn't do a podcast over Firefly.
No, but they did it. Well, I mean, it was a general sci-fi podcast at that time. So anyway, Eric did 1 episode of Warehouse 13, only 1. This is the only one we get of Eric. He did 15 episodes of Ghost Whisperer. Shannon, I was wondering if you
love that show.
I loved Ghost Whisperer until they jumped the shark and killed the guy. Then I stopped watching.
Until they what?
Her husband?
Oh yeah, he was leaving the series.
Well, yeah, but then I stopped watching because then they like brought him back, but he was in a different body, and I was like,
Yeah, you lost it. Bad writing.
Yeah. yeah. Then it was just, and I didn't watch any more of it.
Oh, she's so cute. You know,
She is.
she was. Yes. Mm.
Okay, I wasn't thinking that way, but go ahead. That's fine.
But I think that way. So that's where the conversation
I
going.
do.
It's okay.
It's fine.
So Eric also did 2 episodes of Grey's Anatomy, 1 episode of DC's Legends of Tomorrow. It was season 2, episode 10, Legion of Doom, which was actually a pretty cool episode. And then 3 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I have watched stuff that
You've watched him a couple of times.
and podcasted on stuff that Eric has done before with those last 2. Now, the reason why I brought up that series All Fly Away before is he in 1992 won a Primetime Emmy for the All Fly Away episode All God's Children, season 1, episode 5. So he's a Primetime Emmy winner.
Well, that's cool.
Still haven't heard of the show.
Didn't see that show, but that's cool.
If you go back and take a look at the show, you'll understand, you'll remember that it was promoted back in the early 90s. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what your memory's like from back then.
Just the name alone reminds me of Touched by an Angel.
I like that series.
Not quite. It was a mixed family, basically. Was 1 season, I think. I can't remember how many episodes, but it was critically acclaimed, and he won a Primetime Emmy award for it, which is important. He's a Primetime Emmy Award-winning director that Warehouse 13 got in its first season. He's episode 10.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was a really good. I mean, I liked how Pete and Micah were going through the warehouse to try to find Claudia because they were following the zip line. And there's this dodgeball that's bouncing, and it hit Pete, and then multiplied. And they're like,
Yeah.
did that thing just have babies? So then they it seems to hit us when we don't look at it. So then they walk over to see what it does. And it's been there since, I don't remember the year.
1972. It was acquired
1972.
after the bludgeoning deaths of 5 Baylor cadets in 1972.
So it multiplies every time you get
What a
hit.
way to die.
So I know, right? So then they are like, okay, well, I know there's a place where we can spray it with purple goo. So they run to this spot getting hit the whole time. And then it cracks me up when they're staring at the ball, trying not to take their eyes off of it, but they're reading other artifacts to see if there's something else that they can find. And I found, they said there was one that you could read, breathe underwater. There was hear underwater. There was a shell that you could hear underwater or breathe underwater. It was breathe underwater.
It was breathe underwater, and it was an Easter Island conch discovered in 1948 by Captain H. Buchanan.
Well, look at you pausing the thing and just...
That's exactly what I did. I paused the thing and I typed it in.
He cheated.
Then there was another one where you could hear colors.
Yep.
Or grow fingernails fast, which I don't know why you would want that.
Clark Gable's nail grooming kit. I guess he liked his nails. I don't know.
I don't know, but I wouldn't want my nails to grow fast. Thanks.
Although we could pop the balls.
It's true. There was another one where you could release locusts, which that would not be good.
Do not blow the whistle. Damage to nearby farms will be catastrophic.
Is that what it said?
Yes, that's what it said.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
It was picked up in Germany in 1923.
Look at you and pausing the thing. I didn't pause mine. But then Pete was like, I have an idea. What's the point of dodgeball? You have to catch the ball.
Then he gets buried by all the balls.
But he catches the ball after he tells Micah to look away so she can get pummeled and he can catch one of them. And then she looks over and he's just buried in dodgeballs.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden his hand comes up.
Up. He's got with the one ball.
Take that, Ralph Brunsky.
There you go. Who smells like tuna fish now?
I don't know who has the best lines. Is it her? Is it Claudia or Pete? I think she's got the best one-liners, but he's got great ones.
Yeah. Well, when they finish and, he's finally got the ball, he's like, all right, I'm done with this. I'm going to climb the ladder and we're going to find out where Claudia went. And, they see the Airbnb. He's like, we need to go over this place to see it because there's a big Claudia-sized hole in the roof.
Because Mommy Roadrunner. No, not Roadrunner, but Wile E. Coyote.
I know. All I could think of was like Wile E. Coyote. What?
Well, talking about the one-liners, it was written by a pair of writers. The first writer is, get this, I'm not making this up. His name is Michael P. Fox. Not Michael J. Fox. Yeah, Michael P. Fox. He has 8 writing credits going back to 2003.
Michael Phillip.
Including 1 episode of According to Jim, and then 7 episodes of Warehouse 13, starting with this one and going all the way through the second season 2, episode 11, Buried. And then it was co-written by Ian Stokes, who has 5 writing credits since 2009, including 13 episodes of Warehouse 13 and 7 episodes of Teen Wolf, 2 episodes of Iron Fist, 2 episodes of Luke Cage, and 2 episodes of the new One Piece.
I haven't seen One Piece.
Never heard of it.
Is that Netflix one?
Yeah, it's a Netflix one. It's based off a comic. There is a cartoon that's got like 1,000 episodes of One Piece. It's, like Japanese animation or whatever.
Oh.
But this is the live action. He's at 2 episodes of the live action One Piece. So critically acclaimed. Ian Stokes has got it going on.
Well, that's good. I mean, I love the writing in this one. It was hilarious. You know what was really funny as our discussion of chicken from the last podcast was when Claudia was trying to ungoo the gears. She's pulling out the sticky string and she's like, it smells like chicken. I was laughing so hard.
Tastes like chicken, smells like chicken, smells like tuna.
As I was thinking about I almost texted both of you and went, smells like chicken.
It's funny. In the middle of my day, I went, what?
What is she talking about?
Yeah, I didn't get home till like 6 o'clock. So I would have been like, what?
All right, you guys got any last thoughts on the episode before we move on to feedback?
I just really liked it.
I did forward you to one earlier this week, didn't I?
You
Yes.
did.
Hey, look, you got to give me credit because I barely remember my week. Okay.
You did. Actually, Shannon forwarded us an email. Carolyn?
She did. This is from Pat. It says, "Greetings from Portland, Oregon. I was told about your podcast by my good friend, Agent Carolyn. He's one of my friends that I actually met through friends that we go to Rose City Comic Con with.
Cool.
So he's one of my friends from that.
He's a con goer.
Yes.
So he also got to feel up #1 in Nurse Chapel.
No, he was not in that. He was not.
No, he lost
He
out.
was not in that picture. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He was actually he was cosplaying that day as Ghost from video game. He's going to kill me because I don't remember what the video game is for.
Pac-Man?
No. Like a military character from like Halo or one of the video games.
Yeah. Probably
That'd be a great costume though as one of the ghosts from Pac-Man.
Right? There were a lot of good ones there, but he did pretty good. He got a lot of people wanting to take pictures with him, so it was pretty good. Anyway, I was told about your podcast by my good friend Agent Carolyn, and I am hooked. I never knew of Warehouse 13 until she told me about it and your podcast. When listening to the three of you talking about different episodes and scenes, I can picture things in my head. I'm going to buy the series on DVD from Amazon. The info about the show, the jokes, tangents, and your personalities make the show great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I have heard you talk about the Farnsworth. I am a ham radio operator.
Ooh.
The Farnsworth is a 2-part reference from ham radio. Part 1, Farnsworth, was a ham who came up with an easy way to learn Morse code. Part 2, the sound it makes is that of an old spark gap transmitter. It would make a buzz sound, not tones like modern radios do when doing Morse code. Keep up the great work. You three are great together. Thank you, Agent Carolyn, for letting me know about your podcast, Field Agent Ghost.
That's pretty cool.
Ghost is from Modern Warfare, by the way. That's the
Thank
game.
you. I'm sorry, Patrick. I forgot. But you do it looked really good. So he had a lot of people that would take pictures and stuff with him. So
that's 2 people so far this season that we've got hooked on Warehouse 13.
actually, he got the rest of his staff at his ham radio shop to listen to it too. So I think that's like 3 or 4 more people.
That's pretty cool. Because earlier in the season, we had a guy that said that he's going to buy all the seasons because of listening to us. So
yeah, and we had more interaction from Dave too on the app formerly known as Twitter.
On the X.
On the X. Yeah, I think it was Dave, wasn't it? I think Dave was the one that was doing a lot of
on tweets. I think they're still called tweets. I mean,
still
you can call them
tweets?
posts, but
just call them tweets. Everyone knows that. Instead of trying to figure out what we're going to say, I'm not going to use X. Everyone knows what Twitter is.
And Mike and Dave are really good at sending.
Mike's really good at reposting our podcast.
I did put in the order for the original Karen t-shirt. I have not heard back from the artist on that.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
With Jake?
Well, the artist is not Jake.
Oh, really?
The artist would be
His
your
wife.
husband, Sean.
Yeah. He said Jake's wife does it.
Okay. I put in the order with both of them. I still haven't seen anything. So I'm just saying, put in the order.
But yeah, that's our feedback. Thanks, Patrick, for sending that in to us. And I'm glad you're enjoying the show and glad you're telling others about it. And I think
new fan.
A lot of my con family actually has started to listen to it too. So
that's pretty cool. I mean, first of all, they're listening to you, and that's cool for your first, podcast that you're doing,
Yeah.
but also all the people that we're introducing to a show, to a series that's been long gone, right?
Mhm.
It's been over what, almost a decade
14 years.
since it left the air.
Yeah.
Well, it was 5 seasons, right? So it left the air in
It left when Defiance
14?
started.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah,
14.
pretty much.
Yeah, because at the con in 2009, the con that I went to when the Warehouse 13 people came here was at the same time that Defiance people were at Dallas at the same time. That's how Jamie was there. So they were talking about how they were going to figure out, the series was trying to figure out the times of when what show was going to be airing and when what, the other one was going to be, and that Jamie left Warehouse 13 to join Defiance.
Mhm.
That's why we never got the resolution of burying the wells, but that's another story.
And I did promote it too. So I have this group. It's called Women of Wilbur Ellis, which is where I work. And we get together and have kind of like a tea time or a coffee time or something like that, just to talk. And they do this thing like, what's your new thing in your life? So I talked about my podcast, and actually one of the other gals that I work with in a different branch, she's like, I loved Warehouse 13 when it was on. I was like, so in our chat, I like posted our like link, and I'm like, shameless plug, somebody else. So
It's good. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I wear my Warehouse 13 hoodies. I still have the stickers on the back of my truck. Actually, at one time, I had the Farnsworth notifications.
Right.
yeah, I remember that.
They're on the podcast every week at the end.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
So we have the email address. It's warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. If you're just joining us, please send us an email. Say, hey, caught the podcast, and tell us how you found us. That's warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. If you happen to be listening to us on your Apple podcast app, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating and send us a nice review of the podcast. We would appreciate that over on Apple Podcasts. So in 2 weeks, I am taking a trip next week, by the way. So in 2 weeks, we'll get back together and record our next episode, the penultimate episode of season 1, episode 11, Nevermore. Shannon, do you want to hear the IMDb or the Amazon description?
Amazon.
After a failed attempt to capture McPherson, played by Roger Rees, Micah, played by Joanne Kelly, receives word her father is dying and travels home to see her parents. She soon discovers the situation is more dire. He has a bifurcated artifact. The second part is wreaking havoc in an Oregon high school, and both belong to Edgar Allan Poe. Can the team neutralize the 2-part artifact before the situation becomes too macabre? That's it.
So much history. Also, more guest stars from
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yep.
Which, fun fact, I'll tell you now because I could probably remember to tell you then too. Fun fact, the people that play Micah's parents, in real life, they're married.
Yep.
And in real life, they are the parents of the guy that played Sam, Micah's boyfriend.
Yep.
Huh. That's funny.
Fascinating facts that nobody cares about.
I think he was in Battlestar Galactica too, as like an extra pilot or something like that.
Well, I
Probably.
don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what we got coming up next week.
I wish I was going to DC.
Yeah, I'll be there. Pretty much against my will, but I'll be there for a week.
Well, I'm glad I didn't buy my GalaxyCon tickets because Capriel canceled. She has to go someplace else. I know.
Maybe you gave her bronchitis.
Believe me, you're going to have a lot of editing, I know, but I wish I did. I
haven't heard you.
Really? At all?
Huh? Mm-mm.
That's a pretty good distancing from the microphone I've gotten then, huh?
Yeah, I think that mixer has a mute button. You're going to have to learn how to ride that in the future.
But it's way over there.
Oh, he's got it over there.
It's
Okay,
over there
never
on the
mind.
table.
My
Never
arm is
mind.
not that long.
No, I couldn't if I wanted to. It would take like
Like, hold on just a
I'm not
second.
touching it. I'm still not touching it. It's on the
She's
next table.
falling over her chair. All right, so that's it. In 2 weeks, we're talking about Nevermore,
2 weeks.
and we will see everybody there. In the meantime, I'm the Janitor SP.
Sci-fi girl.
This is Ocean 363. Bye.
I'm hungry for spaghetti.
Me too.
Thanks for joining us for an episode of the Artie's Attic Warehouse 13 Fancast. You can find all our episodes at warehouse13fancast.com. If you'd like to contact us, you can hit us up on our email at warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. We are a part of the Lone Wolf Podcast Network. You can hear more of this cast and other shows like it by checking out lonewolfpodcasts.com. The intro music is Syfy Hybrid Intro by Soundmake, and the outro music is Science Fiction by Tunes to Go. Both were purchased on pond5.com. So the A word says it's going to rain tomorrow night, but I'm looking at weather.com and it's saying, screw you, A word. It is not going to rain tomorrow.
That's what my weather app says.
Screw you.
It says rain.
You know what? I will take the coughing in the chest all week long if I could just not have my head hurt.
I'm sorry. My head hurt yesterday because of the weather changed. We had like 80-degree weather on Friday and Saturday.
I know it was 84 here today.
And then Sunday, it started cooling off. And Monday, it was 60, cloudy, and rainy. My head was like, no.
And that's how migraines are born.
I don't get migraines as much as it just is there's so much pressure.
I say this all the time. As much as they dug around in my head and as much money as they cost me, you would think that I'd come out not having migraines.
I mean, yeah, rude. Why couldn't they fix that?
273,000? No. Let's let her keep having migraines.
Why would we fix that? Then we can't get any more out of you.
See, I think that's easily fixed. You just stop living with Sean. Then your migraines go away. See? I know the cause.
Actually, it's probably accurate.
That's it.
I did forward you to one earlier this week, didn't I?
You
Yes.
did.
Hey, look, you got to give me credit because I barely remember my week, okay?
You did. Actually, Shannon forwarded us an email. Carolyn?
She did.
Go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it.
I gotta
Carolyn.
get there. Hold on.
You don't have this ready? You don't have this on the tip of your fingers?
Did. Well, I only have one monitor.
Your podcast preparation is poor.
I got one
Well,
monitor.
you know what? I only have one monitor. So
Get another one. Bring it up on your phone.
I don't know. I think we need to send the janitor on vacation. He's a little spicy.
Okay. I'll go on a trip and won't be on vacation.
All right.
I'm thinking Washington, D.C.
You're thinking Washington, D.C. That sounds like a good trip.